Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine, like, you stumble upon a secret treasure map, but instead of gold, it points to Apple's future plans.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened with this iOS 18 code leak, wasn't it?
Exactly. It's like an accidental but, well, truly unprecedented glimpse into their silicon roadmap, stuff they guard really closely.
And what makes this so solid, is where it came from. This isn't just some rumor floating around.
Right.
It was a specific non-UI build, 22A91871Y, I think, found on an actual iPhone 16 prototype.
An EVT stage 1, right, back in March.
Uh-huh. Engineering validation test. That means the hardware design is basically done. They're already testing it rigorously.
So these chips aren't just ideas on a whiteboard.
Not at all. And finding Apple's own tools in there, like Purple Sniff and iOS menu, that just seals it. These are real, they're deep in development, probably close to launch.
Okay, so our mission today for this deep dive is to explore these 7 different chip projects the leak revealed.
And sort of understand the bigger picture, the strategy behind it all.
Yeah. If you've ever wondered how Apple pulls off that integrated feeling or how they keep pushing things forward,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to give you some major aha moments. Think of it as your shortcut to understanding Apple's big push for self-sufficiency.
Owning the whole stack, basically.
Exactly. Getting rid of third-party suppliers for core stuff, gaining more control.
Total ecosystem control.
Let's start with that big picture then, because this leak really hammers home Apple's whole philosophy. Vertical integration.
Right. It's not just about making, slightly better chips each year.
No, it's about complete self-sufficiency in silicon, controlling every major piece.
Which gives them that unique user experience, that differentiation.
So why do they go to all this trouble?
Well, it lets them avoid the compromises, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When you buy off-the-shelf parts, you often have to design around them.
Okay.
Apple designs the chip for the product. That means unparalleled performance, amazing power efficiency.
And that deep hardware-software integration they're known for.
Exactly. They're not a merchant silicon company just selling chips to anyone. And look at the pace. They jump on the latest manufacturing tech, like advanced 3-nanometer processes, really aggressively.
And AI seems core to this now, not just bolted on.
Absolutely fundamental. It's a driver, not an add-on. This enables that privacy-preserving AI, keeping your data on the device.
Which also makes it faster, right? No cloud latency.
Precisely. Faster responsiveness for all those smart features.
Okay, let's dive into the main brains then. The next A-series chips for iPhones, A19 and A19 Pro.
Yeah, with the Greek island code names. Telos for A19, Thera for A19 Pro. Sounds quite nice.
Ah, yeah. So what's the tech behind these?
Well, the A19 Pro is reportedly using TSMC's N3P process. That's their latest 3-nanometer iteration.
So better speed, better efficiency than the A18 Pro's N3E.
That's the promise. But here's the interesting bit, the sort of strategic shift.
What's that?
Both the A19 and A19 Pro are apparently focusing more on efficiency this year, not just chasing raw performance numbers.
Ah, okay. So better battery life, maybe keeping things cool.
Exactly. Sustained performance, especially if they want to make devices even thinner. And the A19 Pro's architecture sounds like a big rethink.
How so?
They're calling it a heterogeneous computing architecture. Think of it like having specialized workers for different jobs, graphics, AI, general processing.
Mm-hmm.
And this architecture lets the chip dynamically send tasks to the best specialist. It's much more efficient. They're talking up to like 30% better performance per watt.
Wow, okay. So if benchmarks aren't the main goal, then what is the new performance frontier for Apple? Is it all about this on-device AI?
It really looks that way. It's about enabling features that feel instant, private, always there.
Like what kinds of features?
Well, the A19 Pro's neural engine is supposed to be a big leap with dedicated hardware. Imagine real-time language translation during a video call.
Happening right on the phone, no internet needed.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing this enables. The leak even hints at exploring really advanced stuff like quantum-inspired neural networks.
Oh, okay. Sounds futuristic.
And adaptive NPUs, AI hardware that can change itself for different tasks. Very cutting edge.
And where will we see these chips?
The A19 is likely for the iPhone 17 Air and maybe a 17e model. The A19 Pro for the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max.
It makes sense.
And there's that rumor, too, about a 13-inch MacBook, potentially getting an A18 Pro chip soon. Shows how fast they're moving.
Right. And security. Anything new there?
Yeah, mentions of quantum-resistant cryptography.
Preparing for future threats.
Seems like it. Also, lattice-based crypto and homomorphic encryption acceleration, basically. Ways to compute on encrypted data. very security-focused.
Okay, let's switch gears to connectivity. The leak mentioned a new modem, right? The C2.
Yep, Apple's second-gen in-house 5G modem, codenamed C4020, successor to the C1.
And the big upgrade is?
Million of 5G support. Finally, that was the key thing missing from the C1.
Right, needed for those super high speeds in dense areas.
Exactly. We're talking theoretical peaks of maybe 6 gigabits per second, plus better carrier aggregation.
And strategically, this is a huge step away from Qualcomm, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's been a long, long road for Apple trying to reduce that dependency. Think of all the legal battles and supply deals.
So this C2 is critical for that long-term goal.
Totally. It's about Apple controlling its own connectivity destiny.
And their goal is pretty ambitious, isn't it? To actually beat Qualcomm by 2027.
Yeah, surpass them in performance and AI features by the iPhone's 20th anniversary, and eventually merge the modem onto the main A-series chip.
Wow, one single mobile chip. But what are the roadblocks there? That sounds incredibly hard.
It is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Managing the transition, dealing with existing contracts, ensuring performance meets expectations globally, it's a massive undertaking.
So when do we actually see this C2?
The rumor is iPhone 18 Pro models, so that's 2026.
Not the 17 series next year.
Probably not all of them. The non-Pro 17s might get the C1. And the 17 Pros, they might still use Qualcomm due to contracts lasting until March 2027.
Okay. So it's a slow, careful rollout.
Very cautious, yeah. A phased transition, de-risking it. Remember, the C1 was already decent on power efficiency, like 25% better. C2 should build on that.
Gotcha. Okay. Moving from phones to the wider ecosystem, Macs, iPads, let's talk M5 chips.
Right, the M5 family. Hydra for the base M5, Sotra for the M5 Pro, keeping those Norwegian island names.
Yeah. These are for the higher end stuff.
Definitely. Expected to use TSMC's N3P process again, that third Gen 3 emitter.
Any big architectural changes?
Well, for the M5 Pro and Max, there's talk of 2.5D packaging.
2.5D, what does that mean in simple terms?
It's sort of like building with Legos instead of carving from one block. They can use separate, smaller chiplets for CPU and GPU and connect them on an interconnect layer.
Okay, and why do that?
Better manufacturing yields, apparently. It's easier to make smaller, perfect chiplets than one giant, perfect chip, and it really helps with managing heat.
Better thermal performance. Makes sense.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is this modular approach kind of sets the stage for even more powerful, maybe even more customized chips down the line, pushing high-performance computing even further.
And where will we see these M5s? Sounds like a broad rollout.
Very broad. Expected later this year, 2025, in 5 product lines. iPad Pro, Vision Pro, MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, and the iMac.
Wow, that's a lot.
And then MacBook Air, probably early 2026.
So for you, the listener, what does this mean for your next potential Mac or iPad?
It means really consistent high performance across the range, makes life easier for developers too.
Right, optimizing for one family.
And just a seamless experience, especially with all the AI stuff likely leveraging this power.
Performance boost over M4, obviously, but also that efficiency focus again.
Definitely. Expect improvements in energy efficiency, thermal performance. That means quieter machines, longer battery life, and performance that doesn't throttle as much under load.
It really shows how fast Apple iterates, moving to N3P so quickly after N3E.
Super aggressive. They want that performance per watt crown, and they're not letting up.
Okay, beyond the main processors, the leak mentioned other silicon too. Apple Watch.
Yeah, the S11 chip, codenamed Bora, based on the A18 architecture, apparently.
So a big jump for the watch. S10 was more of a minor update, wasn't it?
Exactly. S11 should bring unprecedented speed and efficiency for the watch, destined for Series 11, Ultra 3, maybe even a new SE3.
Any specific features tied to it?
Rumors mention a more compact chip design could mean more space for battery. Also support for a new, more efficient cellular modem type, 5G RedCap, possibly from MediaTek.
Interesting. And health features.
Advanced stuff like blood pressure monitoring is often rumored.
Yeah.
And you'd expect AI upgrades too, maybe bringing some Apple Intelligence features to the wrist.
Makes sense. What else? There was a Wi-Fi chip.
Yes, Proxima, an all-new Apple-designed combo chip for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
All new, so replacing Broadcom chips.
That seems to be the goal, yeah. Just like with the modems and Qualcomm. It'll likely support Wi-Fi 6E, or maybe even Wi-Fi 7, plus Bluetooth 5.3.
Okay, faster wireless, anything else?
Crucially, improved support for the Thread smart home standard.
For HomeKit stuff.
Exactly. Should make your smart home devices faster, more reliable, more secure. It's another piece of the integration puzzle, aiming for better performance and, likely, better power efficiency than the Broadcom parts.
So this isn't just faster Wi-Fi for browsing, it's about strengthening their smart home play.
Definitely. Making HomeKit more robust for you.
And where does Proxima show up first?
New Apple TV, new HomePod Mini later in 2025 is the rumor, then some iPhone 17 models, and Macs and iPads starting in 2026.
Okay, so stepping back, looking at all these pieces, A series, M series, modem, watch chip, Wi-Fi chip. Here's where it gets really interesting, right? The impact on the whole industry.
Absolutely. This relentless drive for custom silicon gives Apple a massive strategic edge.
How so, specifically?
Well, like we said, designing everything in-house lets them ditch compromises. They tune every transistor for their specific needs. That leads to that industry-leading performance per watt. And the pace is just relentless. Plus, the AI integration being on-device and privacy-focused, it's a very different approach than, say, Google or Microsoft relying heavily on the cloud.
Which raises that question, doesn't it? Is Apple slower, perhaps, but privacy-first AI approach the smarter long game?
It's a huge strategic bet. It might redefine what users actually want from AI, something personal and secure, not just cloud power. Time will tell.
And this all ties into supply chain resilience too, doesn't it? Especially these days.
Oh, massively. It's a huge de-risking move. Reducing reliance on single suppliers like Qualcomm and Broadcom is critical.
And they're diversifying where the chips are made too.
Yeah, big push to source more from the U.S., planning over 19 billion chips from U.S. factories in 2025, including TSMC's Arizona plant.
Wow.
Plus that broader shift, less reliance on China, boosting production in places like India. And they're putting serious money behind it. That $500 billion investment in U.S. facilities is staggering.
Okay, last piece. The money. This must cost a fortune upfront, right? Designing all these chips.
Huge initial investment, absolutely. R&D, tooling, manufacturing deals, it's billions.
But the payoff is long-term cost savings and profit.
That's the plan. And the numbers look good. The source mentioned a really high return on equity, like 37%, EBITDA around $32 billion, gross profit near $45 billion. They generate a ton of cash.
Strong financials.
Very. And interestingly, while the market values their assets and sales high price to book, price to sales ratios, the price to earnings ratio is actually kind of low compared to some tech peers.
Meaning?
It could suggest the stock might be undervalued relative to its earnings power, especially if you factor in the long-term benefits of this silicon strategy and the AI integration. It's a solid foundation financially.
So, boiling it all down, the big takeaway from this leak seems to be Apple's just unwavering, almost aggressive focus on vertical integration.
Yeah, it's not just about tweaking things year to year. It's a fundamental shift to own every critical piece of silicon.
Which builds that competitive moat deeper and deeper.
Exactly. It locks in their advantage, enables future innovation they couldn't do otherwise, and guarantees that distinct integrated experience across everything they make. It gets harder and harder for anyone else to copy that entire package.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe something for you to chew on. Considering this relentless push for self-sufficiency processors, modems, Wi-Fi, everything, how might this singular focus on owning their ecosystem totally redefine what a tech company even is over the next decade?
Especially when so many others still rely on buying core tech off the shelf.
Right. Is Apple becoming something different, something more integrated, more self-contained than we've seen before? It's definitely something to think about.
Keep digging, stay curious, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive.